But Daniel, straight away, commiserations, obviously. Liverpool lose 1-0 to Real Madrid. Real Madrid win their 14th Champions League title. Unbelievable. Carlo Ancelotti, the most successful manager in European competition. Give me just your initial thoughts about the game and how it ended, and Real Madrid's amazing victory against Liverpool.
I think the game opened up very well. Obviously, Liverpool, played well in the first half. They created a fair few chances, at least half chances as well. And then as the game went on, Madrid grew more comfortable. And the one goal was all they needed, really. The one clear-cut chance is all they needed, and they took it, and they defended well. Courtois made some unbelievable saves as well. And in the end, they showed that fighting spirit, that warrior spirit, that champion spirit, and they got the job done.
Let me ask you a difficult question. We didn't really talk about it as much in HQ in the post-game, but would you say that this is a disappointing season for Liverpool, or how would you characterize it? Obviously, they won the FA Cup, the League Cup. They took Man City to the last day of the season to try and get the Premier League title. It didn't happen. And now, Daniel, third final this season where they didn't score in 90 minutes and extra time, obviously, when it happened. But how would you characterize Liverpool's season now that they've lost to Real Madrid in the Champions League?
Well, look, I think it's been a good season for Liverpool Football Club, successful. They've won 2 trophies. Of course, the 2 bigger trophies that they would have loved to have won, at least one of those, they haven't been able to do that, unfortunately, for myself and for the fans around the world of Liverpool Football Club. But they've played a lot of games. They've had to rotate the squad. They've missed players through the African Nations Cup. They've managed to fight on all cylinders and battle their way to these finals, to take Manchester City to the last game and unfortunately not win the Premier League. So I think with the expectations on the outside on Liverpool Football Club in terms of the quadruple, I think that's what makes people think it's not a successful season. As well, of course, the players would of course want to win one of those bigger competitions, but some of those players haven't won the FA Cup before. Some of them haven't won the Carling Cup before. The Capital One.
So let me ask you something, Daniel. Let's go back to the game regarding Real Madrid for a second. And we're just losing him for a moment. Are you back, Daniel? There he is. There he is. You
hear me?
I love it. I can hear you now, buddy.
What did you hear me until?
I want to go back on the game itself. Talk to me about players that actually impressed you. Obviously, Courtois was amazing. Would you say he was your man of the match?
Fantastic. Yeah, man of the match for sure. He made some unbelievable saves, managed the time well, catch the ball and lie down and all that stuff. The stuff players hate, which annoys us, obviously, when you're trying to get a goal back and the goalkeeper just catches it and then just drops down and you're like, geez, get up, man. So, from that side of things, it was an interesting game to watch. Vinicius was a threat. His runs in behind. Modric controlled the game very well, played some intricate passes. And Valverde was very good as well. Valverde, I feel like he managed the game well. He kept Robertson pretty quiet. And that was a big deal, for the game. Konate played well as well for Liverpool, and I have to give him some credit.
And Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think, played a really good game, devastated towards the end of that game. He didn't do it. We're getting a lot of comments already right now. Madrid had a Cinderella story of a Champions League campaign. Crazy fun, says Stacey Beats. There was another comment about the managers. Carlo Ancelotti outmanaged. There you go, Raymond. Outmanaged Jurgen Klopp. What'd you say to that?
I wouldn't say that personally. I think that Liverpool played well, and they unfortunately didn't take the chances that they created. Courtois was immense. And on another day, it could have been 3-1 or 2-1 to Liverpool. So, I do believe that the game was a very difficult game for both teams in periods of time. But they managed to get the job done. Real Madrid did, and they deserved the victory in the end.
Who's your man of the match from a Liverpool perspective? From a Real Madrid perspective, not Courtois. I know that we mentioned some players, Valverde, but we have to highlight just how good, once again, Vinicius Jr., his escalation into this game, and not just this game, but the season, becoming more than just a Robin to Karim Benzema's Batman. He really has been tremendous, and he comes out with the winner. How good has he been, not just in the final, but in the lead-up to the final itself?
He's been fantastic all season. I've watched him playing a lot of games. He's been decisive. He's improved his finishing, which was one thing that he would have had to improve on to take it to the next level. And he's done just that. He's become more clinical in front of goal. He's putting himself in positions to score, which is important. If you miss, it's not a problem. You keep yourself up, you go again. And I think today he was brilliant. He was a threat all night. And in the end, he made the decisive action and scored the goal.
We got Daniel Sturridge here. Get your questions in. He's about to go. He's not here long because then Jimmy Conrad will come in and Jonathan Johnson. So we want to make sure that you throw in your... There's Jimmy Conrad. He's coming in a minute. We're just giving Daniel a little bit of the limelight because it's been such a pleasure. Daniel, you were fantastic today in HQ. It was his debut in the studio. How did you like it being with everybody?
I enjoyed it, man. It was a great experience having banter with you guys. Going back and forth about takes and so on and so forth. Obviously, you called the victory for Liverpool, for Real Madrid.
Thank you, Daniel.
You're talking yourself up, saying I owe you a beer, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? But it's all good, though, baby. I'm going to get you back now. Don't take it over with, baby. I got you.
I just got to remember, Daniel Sturridge, that you owe me a beer, my friend. So you make sure hey, listen, by the way, and Jonathan Johnson's in the background listening, Daniel Sturridge, he's a Brummie, and he was scouted by Villa at age 7. So don't ever forget that. Hey, listen, Daniel Sturridge, let me ask you something. What does Liverpool do now in the summer? Because now, we have to remember that this is now, is it a restart thing for Jurgen Klopp? Do they need to focus on other players? Because, they haven't, okay, FA Cup, League Cup, but they haven't won the Premier League. And once again, they failed to win the Champions League as well, even though successful enough, they made it to the finals. Do you think you need a big transition or just a few key players?
I think first things first, get those contracts sorted out. That'll be the main priority for Liverpool, to get those players signed, because that's the core group of players that have made the club successful in the past 5 years. So you want to keep those players. You want to have those players at the football club. And then whatever positions the backroom staff, Jurgen and his team, as well as the hierarchy, believe that they can bring in to help improve the squad and take them to the next level is what they're going to want to do. I think trying to do a rebuild based on pretty much one of the most successful seasons for Liverpool. When you look at what they've achieved this season, get into 3 finals, winning 2, losing 1, losing the title by 1 point. I mean, when you look at the season they've had, it's been unbelievable. So because of those 2 failures of not winning the Champions League and not winning the Premier League, people will forget how close they actually were and how much of a successful season, the football they played, the goals they scored. They've been dominant for the best part of the season, and unfortunately for them, the big game tonight, as well as the Premier League game, they didn't get it over the finish line. But at the end of the day, Liverpool Football Club are in a great place. They don't need to go anywhere far-fetched now. They need to just continue doing what they're doing, and next season they go again.
There's a good question here. Ace of them spades. Does Mohamed Salah need to be renewed, really, or time to move on? What do you think?
I mean, what would be the reason for him not being signed? Look at the numbers he's produced over the past 3 or 4 seasons he's been at Liverpool. The numbers are incredible. Goals and assists. He was joint top scorer this season and assists. I think over the past 4 seasons, he's been Liverpool's top scorer, bar 1, if I'm not mistaken, when Mane was top scorer. So when you look at the numbers he's produced over the years and the trophies he's brought to the club, along with his teammates, he's been a vital component in Liverpool's success. So to let a player like that go, it's going to be difficult to replace those goals. And of course, you can find players to do that. But Mohamed Salah is a world-class player, one of the best players in the world. So it's important for Liverpool to try and keep him. And I'm sure they'll resolve that in the near future.
Well, Daniel Sturridge, before you go, one final question. Sylvia, thank you so much. Let's ask this one. What do you think about both teams, their substitutions? I remember sitting next to you in this game, and we were saying, what is Ancelotti doing? Camavinga's not even in yet. And it was 70 minutes, 75th minute, and Rodrigo didn't come on till the 85th minute. What did you make of the substitutions on both sides?
I thought Real Madrid substitutions were quite late, to be honest. I thought that, they would have made changes a little bit earlier to freshen things up in the midfield, to keep that momentum going, to keep the pressing going, because Liverpool were putting them under a lot of pressure and were creating maybe not clear-cut chances, but they were putting them, pushing them back. So it got to a point where it was like, we need some legs in here that can kind of win the ball back for us and then bring it forward and take the pressure off of us. I think Liverpool subs, they made similar substitutions most weeks. It's just the timing of those substitutions. But I didn't feel that Jurgen made any mistakes by bringing any players on that he shouldn't have. I think he made the right choices. He went with the attacking options of Diaz, bringing on Naby Keita, obviously to freshen things up in the midfield. and Bobby Firmino to try and score a goal or create one. So the substitutions he made were the right ones. And unfortunately for the players, again, they didn't go out there and put the ball in the back of the net. But Bobby came on and was sharp, and the other two had an impact. So at the end of the day, they're going to be kicking themselves when they get to the hotel tonight that they didn't get the job done.
Well, I tell you something, a great finisher, a great playing career. My God, Daniel Sturridge, you are a great pundit, my friend. I love it. Thank you so much, Daniel Sturridge. Hey, get home safe, buddy, and you owe me a drink.
I got a long drive. I got a long drive ahead, baby.
Daniel Sturridge, thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you guys, man, for having me.
Daniel. Give me your celebration, buddy.
Thanks for having me, guys. Much love.
Yeah.